Today on General Hospital, Carly objects to Lucas moving in with Marco. Stella orders Curtis to fix his marriage for his baby's sake. And Trina warns Jordan she never reunite with her father. At Bobby's, Carly has lunch with Lucas and Joss. Lucas called the meeting to reveal that he and Marco are moving in. When he reveals they are moving into Windermere, Carly states that is not happening. Carly calls moving in with Sidwell insanity and that the man is a homicidal maniac. Lucas throws Sunny in her face, but she argues that Lucas is just trying to prove he's over Brad, and Marco could be using him for his connection to Sunny. Lucas is insulted that Carly thinks he's a tool, and Marco feels nothing for him. Carly asks Joss to help her, but Joss states this is Lucas's decision and they need to support him. Lucas thanks Joss and tells his sister he doesn't need her approval to be happy. He storms out. Carly and Joss head into the kitchen, where Joss says she'll try to smooth things over with Lucas. Carly doesn't want her to and is disappointed in her daughter. Curtis is having lunch with Aunt Stella, who has deduced that he and Portia are expecting a baby. Curtis says Portia doesn't want anyone to know until she's through the first trimester. But Stella is family and doesn't understand why he kept this from her. He says it's because they are getting a divorce. Stella blurts out, "No, you are not." And here comes the return of nosy no aunt, Stella. Curtis tries to explain that his and Portia's marriage was broken before they found out about the baby. But Stella feels that this baby changes everything. Stella yells that he is abdicating his responsibility to his marriage and child, and his mother would not approve. She believes he and Portia will work this out for their child. Curtis informs her that this isn't her decision to make. At Ava's gallery, Ava can tell something is bothering Trina. Trina tells her friend that her parents are splitting, and she knows her parents love one another, and they didn't grow apart on their own. There was interference in their marriage. Sidwell, Marco, and Jordan appear, and Ava says she congratulates Marco on the news. Marco thanks Ava for her support of him and Lucas, and hopes she joins them for dinner soon. Trina asks what brings Jordan in, and Jordan explains she wants some art for her new place. Trina offers to show her a new artist they got pieces in from, and they head off. Marco heads out, leaving Ava with Sidwell jokes that this move practically makes them family. He also hopes that this may lead to peace between him, Carly and Sunny. Ava tells him Carly isn't known for being peaceful, and if Sunny loses his peers, he will be very hot. Meanwhile, Trina lashes out at Jordan, accusing her of being the reason her parents are getting a divorce. Jordan insists she has nothing to do with her parents' decisions, but Trina doesn't believe her, as she can see through Jordan like glass. At the PC, Rick meets with Turner in the interrogation room, as he's representing Rocco at Sunny's request. Rick says Rocco is a minor with no priors. Justine is ready to offer a year of community services. Rick wants 2 months, so Justine offers 6 months. In the station, Britt talks to Nathan about Rocco. Nathan assures her that this is a misdemeanor offense and he'll probably just get community service. As they head out to the courthouse together, Britt sees Dalton show up, asking to meet with Turner. Dalton speaks with Turner alone, telling her she needs to hear what he has to say. At Sunny's, Gio and Rocco step out to the patio, and Sunny tells Lulu about hiring Rick to represent Rocco. Sunny says his brother is motivated to prove himself to him, and it's a good thing the charges against Rocco aren't serious. Lulu says Ezra is blowing this out of proportion for his own gain, and she doesn't even know how it all happened or where they got the idea that Dalton was experimenting on animals. On the patio, Rocco insists to Gio that he doesn't want anyone else coming forward and putting themselves on the line. They don't need their dad to be angry with Gio again and to give Drew more ammunition against Danny. Rocco says he'll only get community service, seeing he's a minor. Rocco and Gio head back in, and Sunny says it's time to go to court. Sunny, Lulu, and Rocco take off, and Gio stays behind. Emma arrives later to check on Gio. Gio doesn't know if he can live with Rocco going down for their plan. Emma blames herself for all of this and says she was wrong about Dalton. Gio says she wasn't, as he's clearly a bad guy. Gio has decided he's going to tell Dante and Lulu the truth, that he dragged Rocco into this. At the courthouse, Laura talks to Dante about Rocco and the fact that it's election day. Dante feels Laura shouldn't be here for the arraignment, as this could look bad to the voters, especially with Sunny coming to. Laura loves her job, but family comes first, and she won't let Rocco walk into court without her being there as the others begin to arrive. Rick tells Rocco, Sunny, and Lulu that he cut a deal with Turner and everything should be fine. Rick tells the boy to follow his lead, and it should go smoothly. They head into the courtroom, where Britt, Nathan, Laura, and Dante are sitting in support of the boy. Britt tells Rocco not to worry. They have his back, and she knows it will all work out. Rocco is thrilled to see his grandma, and she hugs him. saying it will be okay. The judge appears, and Rocco is asked to stand to hear the charges. Turner then stands to announce that the charges have changed, and the previous plea deal is no longer on the table. Marco slinks in and sits next to Britt, claiming Diane wants a report on how today goes. Turner announces that new evidence, which indicates the destruction of lab materials, intellectual property, and the presence of hazardous chemicals in the lab, could have posed a risk to the university. Rick approaches the bench with Turner, stating that they need a recess because this evidence has not been made available to them. Turner explains that Dalton just provided her office with the photos and a statement. Laura whispers to Sunny that this new evidence is a lie, as Dalton never mentioned his lab was trash to her. Meanwhile, Rick returns to Rocco and tells him things aren't going as expected. Lucas arrives at the gallery, and Sidwell steps out to take a call. Lucas thanks Ava for trusting him to live his own life and cries to her about Carly's words. They embrace. Trina tells Jordan that her dad loves her and listens to her, and she will make sure Jordan and her dad never get back together. Damn. For Stella, now at Bobby's, Carly tells Joss she should have told Lucas to run screaming from Marco and Windermere, as she knows better than anyone how dangerous Sidwell is. Joss looks stunned. Meanwhile, Stella tells Curtis, be a good father, fix your marriage, stay with your wife, and raise your child. Otherwise, I promise you, you will regret it. At Sunny's, Emma tells Gio that she won't let him take the fall for this. She will come clean with him, and they should do it right now. In court. The judge orders Rocco to stand trial, and until then, he's to be held in custody. A bail hearing will be set in 2 days, though bail is not guaranteed. Dante assures Rocco, who panics, that they'll figure this out. Outside the courtroom, Marco calls his father and says, it's over and worse than we feared. Who thinks Dalton is about to be found floating in the river? Hopefully with Ezra. In court, Nathan steps in to be a friendly face for Rocco as he goes through this and promises the boy he'll be okay. Rocco screams that he didn't do this as he's let out. Sunny glares at Turner, and Laura tells Sunny that someone has framed Rocco.